Yeah, yeah, yeah. Truth, love, and freedom is my message for the youth. I be rapping every day, I'm stuck in the booth. I be way too happy to be singing all them blues. They keep telling me lies, I keep telling them the truth. I do it for the agape, I don't care if you got no love for me. All I care is my missioning. Am I in the right positioning? What am I developing? Am I really helping? What am I building? And is it everlasting?
Are you guys ready for this? Hello, world. I got Theo Lux in the house. This has been meaning to go down for far too long, well over a year, if you will. But as we got to know each other more and collaborated on like 20 something videos at least, and have the nattylaw.com website that we've collaborated together with, that's been around for about a year now, year and a half or a couple months now. And we got some cool gear and merch, things from the SoundPath to Freedom as well. And both you and I are really helping out in heaps with this whole music festival, as well as setting up our own, musical sets to present for this wonderful event. So, yeah, Theo, how the fuck you doing out there in Thailand? By way of Israel, like, is you real, man? You got a crazy story that we talked about on Dissolve the Divide, but that's a quick aside. But yeah,
Yeah, it's this time it's evening here. Usually when I appear on the videos, I come on the morning time here, which is actually the evening in the US. So it's kind of flipped right here. But yeah, so I like to keep my lights kind of dim at night. I don't like to burn my eyes with all those influorescent or LED lights, whatever it is these days. Like all those fucking frequencies and whatever the fuck. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about someone who is yeah, I guess on your screen right now, and me. I don't know why I'm making it so awkward like that, but I guess just that's just part of me. So anyway, yeah, what's good, man? Bring the questions in.
yeah. So you and I connected. I guess were digging some of my music mixes and stuff, and you hit me up and like, yeah, man, I got my own stuff on the side, and I was like, cool, dude, I'll check it out and this and that. I featured one of your songs in one of these little open mic mixes that I made last year or year or two ago, and just ever since, we've been like connecting more and more, and joking around with the whole Natty Law stuff, and then you just like out of the blue on one of my live streams, like, you want to do a website together? It's like the domain's open, and I was just like, shit, that never came to mind, but fuck, dude, if you're and this brother's got the skill sets, so you're a multi-talented, faceted brother, and you're not only a beat maker, but you busted out with the Saga this year. Or was it end of 20? No, it was this year. And yeah, just
Yeah,
it's
was
really
nice.
heartwarming to hear, man. It was a really cool album, and just showing your fire, light, compassion, and all these things that agape love that you mentioned several times, and exemplifying some of that good old Natty Law hermetically sealed principles in the lyricals. And yeah, dude, it's kind of a miracle. But yeah.
Oh man, thank you for that. Yeah, so well with Natty Law, yeah, it's funny how that started because so I was like, let's go a little further back than that, like so I guess if people want to get to know me, a prerequisite to listening to this would be listening to our Dissolving the Divide for sure. Um, so they get a bit of a background about how I, kind of did a number with the mandatory military in Israel and ended up going out, traveling, and all that. And while I did that, I was not just trying to, sit on my ass and just wait for God to help me. I was, yeah, trying to make things work online and doing some startups and stuff like that. And yeah, I learned how to create my own websites and, do some online business related things and all that. I was never super successful with it. I had some success with it, but nothing big, so nothing major. So um, I ended up kind of using those skill sets that I earned to use them for things that I became more passionate about. That I was like trying to just I was kind of more like feeling inspired to create more than trying to have just a successful business just to make money, right? And that definitely the biggest passion I had eventually after going through what I had to go through, coming back to Israel and being living through the Corona days, scam and all that shit, is definitely became the natural law. Like after I learned about Mark Passio, I was super passionate about that, and to this day I still am, right? So and so I found out about all kinds of people doing the great work on the One Great Work network, and I think you became one of my favorites, Derek. So I was watching your videos like almost every day, like because you were the only one putting out content almost every day. Yeah, so I was like taking your live streams. Anyway, I had like a hip hop background. I was like listening to hip hop anyway, so like you were the perfect fusion of passions of mine. And yeah, like thanks to you I kind of became more interested in conscious hip hop rather than more like what was popular, maybe not mainstream, but like kind of more SoundCloud rap I was into, that had a lot of nasty lyrics. Of course, I was not enjoying it for the nasty lyrics, although it was funny sometimes. I was enjoying it for those like psychedelic beats and all that. I was always into that. And I guess I'll get into the music side later. But yeah, so just you kept talking about that netty law, and you had that really cool slang with it, So I I one day just wanted to check. Okay, well, I like making websites and all that. I know how to do that. Maybe we just see if there is a nettylaw.com domain available. And yeah, it was. So I right away bought it. And then I told you, hey, I bought nettylaw.com. Want to make a website? And yeah, you were like, yeah, let's do it. So that's how we connected and became friends. And that's how, yeah, that website became a thing. So yeah, now we got merch all over. Get your own Nettylaw Outpost.
Hell yeah. And I'm sure, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I wasn't too familiar with your previous jobs that, you gain these skill sets and everything, and then you apply them to things that matter way much more than, what that job or where you learned it from represented or whatever. And I love hearing stories like that, because it really helps out, because it's like, it kind of reminds me of, one of the people that we love in the world, Mario West. She talks about waltzing in and out of the matrix. Even if we're just looking at it like in hindsight, yeah, we kind of had like a matrix job or whatever, but we took something out of it with us and applied it to something better. And so that's fucking what's up and pretty clever. So yeah, and we'll get into the music stuff whenever you want, as far as like getting to know how you came about, yeah, learning how to program, making beats, and all that stuff. What you used, if you played any instruments, and your influences and all that stuff. So, yeah. Anything else before you want to delve into that?
Um, well, I'll just start with I guess yeah, how I just started getting into music, like in general, falling in love with this form of art, right? Yeah, so like I still remember the first song I ever enjoyed as a child. Yeah, it's an Israeli song, obviously, and the name of it, if I translate, would be "Fire on the Face." uh, and yeah, it had a hook like going like כמו אש, אש על הפנים, זה בא ושורף אותי, מבפנים זה כמו אש על הפנים. So that was the hook of that song, and like I don't know what is it about that song. I think it was in like the Israeli version of like those music competition shows. It was like one of that. So like American Idol, it was like that in Israel. It was called Kochav Nolad, which in Israel they had a more interesting name for it. They called it like A Star is Born. So yeah. So yeah, so it was in the first season of that, one of my favorite singers had that song. I think that was the finale song of his, and I just fell in love with that song. And I just from that point I was into music. So I was into all kinds of music. I was just whatever kind of my older sister was listening to, or my mother, or kind of whatever was kind of a little bit popular at the time, like international as well, not only Israeli. I think actually it kind of ended up being more international than Israeli for me. Although what got me into electronic music was actually one thing that had a home in Israel, which is full-on psytrance, psychedelic trance of the full-on variety, right? And yeah, so that was obviously very big in Israel from I guess all those post-military, stoners going to Goa, partying, and like coming up with this psychedelic music, and then bringing it back to Israel and all over the place. I know it's popular all over the world, but yeah, especially when I was a teenager, I was always exposed to this type of electronic music. Uh, Although I did like other types as well, but definitely that was like the main one for various reasons. And so even though I was like, I don't know, like a 9, 10, 11-year old, I knew nothing about psychedelics or anything like that, about drugs. I was kind of like just shy, introverted, nerdy kid. I was into video games, stuff like that. I was getting into like this full-on psychedelic trance, although I was more enjoying the melodic tracks, because some tracks are just and like some effects and stuff, and not much else. There's not a lot of melody, but I was always digging. Like I remember going through forums. Like maybe that's my initial skill of researching. I would like research and try to find like the more melodic tracks, and I would like really vibe to those. I would like go into another world when the melody came, and it's like it was that's how I kind of fell in love with that style of electronic music. um and I guess that's what you can really hear a lot in my music, is like kind of sort of psychedelic and melodic, right? Like before I made the rap music. But yeah, at the same time I was also getting into rap. Like I remember listening to Eminem. I think Eminem had to be one of the first rappers I was into. And then there was 50 Cent, right? All the typicals of the early 2000s when I was a young teenager. And yeah, obviously I didn't understand any of the lyrics, so it was just about the vibes of it, like how cool it sounded and all that. And yeah, I remember like going around the school with a friend, listening to 50 Cent, like one ear earphone, like in one ear of mine and one ear of his, like we would walk around the school listening to that, and like that was cute. um yeah, so like, I kind of grew up also in just the beginning of technology, of like those smartphones and all that. That was also cool to grow up in that time. um so yeah, so
Can I interject with something
yeah,
real quick?
just I remember like and when yeah.
Sorry. You able to hold that thought? You remember something, right?
Yeah, 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 for
Um,
sure.
yeah, because growing up, you like being not a native English speaker, still not, like listening to songs, you don't understand the lyrics, and then later on, it's like, oh, okay, that means that. So it's like, it means less value almost sometimes if it's kind of, not like talking about some things that are have some proper substance, whatever, that you can kind of learn from or be inspired by, or whatever, in like positive ways and stuff. But it just came to mind that when you said that, it was like, you know what? There's a lot of native English speakers that are the same. It's like they listen to it, and it's like they, well, it's like they do understand it, but it's just like they're still listening to it. Even they're like kind of letting the lyrics bypass them, as if it's like it's more about the beat. You know what I mean? Like just like how it makes you feel, right? Not just like the lyrics and stuff, and like what are you actually consuming in your mind and ears when you hear these things, right? So yeah. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so like I was definitely more into more special songs because I didn't understand the lyrics, right? So I think hip hop is really about the lyrics. Like I once I got to really know it, but at that time I was just a child. I don't know. I was just looking for something that was fun, and I think the songs that like Eminem was always really melodic and funny and all that, and he had funny music videos and all that. So I would enjoy those kind of yeah, more melodic, more funny, more kind of out there tracks that had something that anyone, no matter if they understand English or not, can like get something out of it, right? Because yeah, so yeah, so I remember like digging those kind of tracks that maybe like there was a track that had like gunfire sounds in them, so like that would stick out to me. So like, oh, what is that song? Why is there like gunfire shots in it, like going on with it? What's there? And I would like try to find that song and listen to it. So just like finding the niches in a way, or the kinks, you could say, right? um and so, but eventually I found out about like Israeli rap. um I was getting into that, so I would actually understand some lyrics. And yeah, there are actually a couple popular rappers in Israel, and I was listening to some of them. Like one of the ones I remember right now is Subliminal. So it's actually the same word like English, subliminal, but in so and yeah,
Pronounced like French
uh,
though. I dig that. Yeah.
yeah,
And they were on some
and
pretty conscious lyrics and stuff, or what did you find out with that? And others, I guess.
I can't recall what lyrics he had, but I know he was popular for sure. He was like mainstream,
Oh,
so can't be that conscious. uh,
it's all good.
but who knows? I should maybe revisit it. And one I do remember the lyrics of is a pretty funny one. So like always, I was more into the niches. So I got into a group called Sadile, which is like a fusion of sadistic style, and they would like bring sort of like a gangsta rap type of thing to Hebrew. But the funny part is they were Russians. They were like Russian immigrants, so they would like rap with a very heavy Russian accent, which it really appealed to me because I'm half Russian, right? So like my mother has a Russian accent, so like it was really funny to me to hear that. Like they were just rapping this crazy lyrics, like really fucked up shit, and with this heavy Russian accent, in, in Hebrew, and it was just a freak show of a thing. But I don't know. I was just super into it. I was like their biggest fan at some point for a certain period. I would like dig their tracks in their MySpace and all that. And I even listened to the Russian material. They had one Russian album in Russian, and I even listened to that. And actually, that reminded me. I even listened to Russian rap as well. I don't know if that's because of them or what, but I even ended up
Oh, yeah.
listening to actual Russian rap and all that. So I was just always a very kind of open-minded guy and just kind of weird, like I don't know. And so Uh,
Yeah. No, that's great. You dabbled in a lot of different, genres of music and everything. And, yeah, so it's funny because yeah, we have all these influences and certain threads take you here and there, and yeah, you want to gather up and like listen to everything they have on any platform that you can find them on, and yeah, man, I can definitely relate to that. That's cool, yo. So I guess it took you, yeah, until leaving and like being on your own and stuff. I think probably when you were out in Bulgaria, when you started like making your own content, music, and things like that. It's like,
oh, it's way before Bulgaria when I started making like
oh,
electronic music. Yeah,
Stephen Wall.
yeah. Well, when it comes to being creative, that was also just always with me. Like I remember when I was very young, I loved Dragon Ball Z, right? The anime, very popular for people who grew up like me. I'm 96, so yeah, it was like very popular on TV, and it was like the favorite show of many kids. So I was just super into it. That was like my Bible, you know. That was just my fucking. That was the saga I was really into at that time. So yeah, I was just super hooked on it, and I would like draw every day like the characters, and I would like ended up making a whole book of like just making my own version of the whole story of Dragon Ball Z, like with a picture book. With like hand drawn picture book like that with like actual story on it. Like so I would draw the scene and then I would write like what's going on in the scene, you know, what the characters are doing, what's going on, and the plot in a little bit like yeah. Uh, that book should still be somewhere in my mother's house, maybe. Yeah, it's really cool. And then there was Digimon, so I think I did it for Digimon as well, and like, all those animes. And yeah, after that, um, I was really into video games. So when I had my computer, I would eventually start making. I think first I started by making animations. So I was messing around with a program called Pivot. So you would just have like stick figures, and you would be able to, you know, add frames and move the stick figure and add another frame, and you got an animation, right? And so that's how I started with making animations. Then I progressed to Flash, right? Like all those Flash animations, Flash games back in the day. I was into that. I was learning how to do that. I made a couple Flash animations, Flash games, and after I kind of grew out of that, I think I established that music is has to be my main passion for creating at least. Like I can still obviously enjoy animes and video games and all those things, but for creating things, I think I kind of slowly realized I think music has to be the main thing I want to create for my art, and so I doubled into music creation, FL Studio, all that when I was a teenager, virtual DJ. I think the longest original moniker of mine on like forums and stuff was like DJ Dory. So like my name in Hebrew is Dor. So I was like DJ Dory. I think DJ Dor was taken away, so I had to do DJ Dory. uh, that's funny. So that's my nickname on all the original forums and all original internet shit. So yeah, I would like make those virtual DJ mixes, and then FL Studio, and eventually I was getting more and more serious with it, more towards like around the time of military service, and so I was getting into Ableton, right? So I was trying to find which program is.
No, you're all good. I hear you, man. That's cool. I'm learning a lot about you. That's fucking really interesting. I like that. Um, Interesting evolution of your experiences and where your passions have kind of like led you and stuff, and things you picked up along the way and stuff. And yeah, just hey, it's like I want to do music. Let's get some programs going on. Yeah, I can feel that and relate to a little bit. I had some shitty programs like in the late '90s of like hip hop beats. It was like really generic and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I wasn't aware of like these Abletons and things like that. I guess I didn't do the proper research, but yeah. How do you find programs like that? And do you feel limited in this and that? Do you add little plugins or even like instruments that you can play on the side and have them recorded? Because you got like some pretty cool variety of beats, man. I'm feeling that shit, you know. Um, yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, one thing with me, I was always wanting to be as original as possible. Kind of like how I was always into niches and stuff like that. I was trying to kind of create my own niche and do something that is really original. I was not trying to copy anyone really that much. Of course, I had my influences, sometimes more obvious influences, but overall, I was always looking for that original. And so, yeah, like when I was looking for a music program, when I was getting more and more serious about music creation, like I said, I was just starting with virtual DJ. Just the first music creation thing I did was just wanting to make some scratches and all that. I was really into that. I think I told you that before, and so I would like mix whatever was popular in Israel at the time with the kids, with the friends at school, and I would like add a shit ton of scratches over it. That my friend told me like, oh, there's too many scratches. I just wanted to have the songs together, and yeah, that's funny. And so yeah, then when I played around with FL Studio, um, I was just kind of getting into beat making, but FL Studio felt too much like gamified in a way, like too much. It didn't feel real professional to me, especially I guess that early version from back in the day, back from 10 years ago. It was more basic, I guess, than now. I guess nowadays people are very big producers use FL Studio, so maybe now it's more powerful than it used to be, or I don't know what, but just the interface of it kind of felt too simple to me. I wanted something more professional. Like I was getting more and more serious into it, but this is already late teenage, early 20s, right? So I was starting to feel adult and was like, okay, I'm now serious about it. Let's build a little career with this maybe. And so I was researching what I should use, and Ableton came up as a kind of the best alternative to FL Studio or something like that, or like something maybe I was researching like what a certain producer was using. I think I was like um, watching some videos of producers I liked at the time, like showcasing how they produce, and maybe one of them used Ableton, and that looked good to me, so I ended up trying that, and yeah, I ended up just sticking with it. So just I remember like trying some tracks. I was yeah, this is like 2017 now, and or 16, 17, yeah, around that time. And yeah, so that's like also literally just before military service. I was playing around with trying to make a special fusion of like Chinese, like traditional Chinese music, and that's way before I've been to China or even East Asia. I don't know what was it, but I just felt inspired to take some like traditional Chinese music samples and just make a hip hop beat with that. I don't know what is it. I don't know what what made me do it, but I just that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I did. And
No Wu Tang
you can
influence.
still hear what ended up. I know, man. I don't think I even knew Wu-Tang at that time, but maybe there was something. Who knows? But I was just. I think I was more inspired by my maybe like some electronic music, like that had like kind of just an exotic feeling to it. I was looking for that exotic sound, you could say. And Chinese music, especially that kind of traditional one, always felt very exotic to me. So I was trying to create something like that. but make it more cool and more, poppy in a way. Um, so yeah, that's what I did, and you can still hear what ended up being created with that on my debut mixtape thing on my Bandcamp, just Lux, self-titled. So it's the track number 2. It's called Chin. uh, yeah, so I made that track. I was really proud of it. I was like letting people listen to it, like my dad, rest in peace, and you know, yeah, eventually even in the military, I let some other soldiers listen to it, and I was kind of proud of that. I was like, hey, look at that! That's check it out. That's pretty cool. Listen to that. And then I was just getting more and more into it. I was trying to do all kinds of different music, and I was like fucking annoying the hell out of other soldiers around me, like playing around in my phone and making beats on like some Android app for like making beats. I would drive them crazy because like for me to make music, like I wouldn't want to observe me making music because it's kind of like trying things out, trying to find a good loop, and like that can take a long time to figure out a good loop and like how to arrange it correctly and so it sounds good and flows good and all that. It can take a while, and so I'll be like in the trance of like trying to create something, and so I will just be looping some kind of a melody, some kind of a synth, some kind of a, I don't know, piano routine, whatever. And I'm sure it can drive someone crazy, but because I'm in the process of creating it, I'm not really noticing it, right? It's just the process. So yeah. So anyway, I guess I would just use the headphones if someone is around me and I want to create a beat. uh, anyway, yeah. So I was really getting into it. So yeah, I think I was getting too creative, too independent to really be in the military. I really couldn't bear with being a slave there. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they are so bully like with the way they treat the soldiers, right? The commanders and all that. So there was no way for me to stay there. So um, anyway, moving on. Yeah. So while I was abroad, except for working on business stuff, also getting into crypto stuff, I was of course making music, and that was my main passion always. So I made many electronic music tracks during that time of like traveling, and so that's how I kind of built my sound, my signature, you could say, and of course my skills also. Uh, so yeah, so I was playing around mostly it was just pure Ableton, but I was using some plugins sometimes too, some drum kits and all that, but mostly just the um, Ableton, uh, just the Ableton kit, just the one you get with it. So yeah, yeah. Any questions so far? Trying to engage you, man.
Yeah, waiting for these trains to pass. So you were more into instrumentals and making beats and stuff. When did you really like start like making lyrics and stuff? I'm sure you might have had like lyrics come to mind when you were making beats and all that stuff, but did you ever like put the pen to paper along the way a little bit, or was that kind of something more in recent times or years?
Yeah. Um, I did write a couple rap songs back in my middle teenage years when I was still in high school. I even recorded, I think, two. One of them I still remember. Well, I remember both of them, but one of them is kind of like still one that I would consider not bad. Like I would not be shy to share that one. But it was just kind of to try to prove to myself that I can, because I was listening to a lot of hip hop at that time. Maybe at that time I was listening to more things like maybe Kendrick Lamar, Absol, stuff like that. told you about Absol, so like TDE Entertainment. They're kind of the sort of conscious of the mainstream, but not really conscious once you get into the netty law shit, like what you present. But they are a little bit conscious. So like I was getting into that. I was always into the most conscious I can find. So yeah, so I wrote a couple rap songs and I recorded some, and I was proud of one of them. And then that was it for that. And then it was just electronic music after I kind of dabbled with that. But kind of going back to that was definitely more of a recent thing. I think I was inspired by yourself in a way, the music I found out from you, and of course the natural law community in general, Mark Pessio's um, kind of teachings of like putting ourselves out there, not being afraid and all that. By the way, am I coming in? Because kind of getting a lag situation going on. I think it's good now.
Yeah, you're good, brother.
Maybe
I
there's a
noticed there's
delay.
like a slight delay uh, between our exchanges, but yeah, you brought up a good point. And sorry, it's like I might have my eyes closed, but I'm like meditating on what you're saying as well and stuff. And I'm trying to think about as well. Like folks like yourself in other countries and even places in the States where it's like they don't have a huge access to like a lot of eclectic types of music, especially on the underground and stuff. Like it's only going to be like the record labels that are selling CDs in like huge quantities that are going to be distributed like internationally a lot of times and stuff, unless there's these a lot of folks on the underground do tour out in Europe and elsewhere and this and that and sell their merch and CDs and all that stuff, but they don't always have ways to distribute on a more massive scale their music, unfortunately. But now we got streaming, so things have changed a little bit. But yeah, I was just trying to put that in the context of when you were growing up and stuff, and what was even available to you over there, and where you grew up and shit like that.
Yeah. So I'll just mention first. Yeah, we're having some connection issues with the rainy season here. So I'll try to bring back the thread that we were on. So yeah, and I might be a bit distracted because there's some delays going on with the connection, but we're gonna try to make it work. All right. So yeah, I heard much of what you said. Yeah, it's true that growing up in Israel, I suppose it's very different from growing up in the Bay Area in terms of heavy. So yeah, so in regards to not having access to conscious music, of course, growing up in Israel, we didn't uh, unless you knew someone from the Bay Area, you didn't really get access to that conscious music that like the Natty Law shit, right? So definitely, you made a good point there, Derek. Yeah. What else were you trying to tell me with that?
Not just that when we grow up we're more impressionable, and like we're bombarded with all this type of music in the lamestream realm, and it's not necessarily like it's filtered out to a good degree as far as like what we know, in contrast to like that pure raw conscious vibe through the underground, more or less independent artists, whether it be hip hop, reggae, rock, alternative, metal, whatever, right? It's all out there in different art forms. Yet for me, like I always saw hip hop as something more, I wouldn't say special, but just more lyrically emphasized. And that like really drew me, especially since I love wordplay and rhymes and things like that. And yeah,
Right. So I think I was starting to say that I was getting more and more into lyrics around high school time, late teenage. Um, so yeah, I was at first it was more like Kendrick Lamar, Absol, TDE, entertainment stuff, and Absol. He's kind of conscious, but of course nothing like the Natty Law level. Uh, you know, for me, it's the high regard is to talk about universal principles. He was getting into like conspiracy theories and stuff like that, uh, and Bohemian Grove and all that, but uh, not really getting into cosmic principles or morality or anything like that. Actually, he was definitely rapping more of that. More, especially later on, he was a lot more into the mumble rap direction a little bit. Like he doubled into that. Like he was kind of excusing it as like he's just calling it kind of putting a mirror to society. And in a way, you could say you could do it like that. You could kind of make art like that, but it kind of seemed like it was more like he was being kind of selling his soul a little bit, like losing his soul, which is ironic because his name is Absol. Anyway, not to focus on him. Yeah, and so Kendrick Lamar, he had some sort of conscious songs, but he also I don't know what kind of person he is. Obviously, all of them are basically just Satanists. Really, they're just doing it for the money more than anything. So um, yeah, so to really come in across like more pure, uh, hermetically sealed hip hop, like eventually KRS, like KRS was very popular, but I never knew about him until quite recently. I don't know, like 1 or 2 years back is when I first found out about KRS. And so yeah, that was definitely eye opening, especially that third eye, right, and that first eye as well. But yeah, so but anyway, what you were saying in regards to getting into lyrics and wordplay, definitely with Absol, one of the things about him, he was very much into wordplay, being clever with it, with the lyrics. That's what I loved about him more than anything, and that's how I kind of got into that. And then I listened to other more lyrical rappers that were having different approaches, like Milo. You probably don't know him. Oh, you do, because I think I sent you him before.
yeah, you might have introduced me, or someone else has
Yeah,
in the past. I mean, he's been around for at least a decade. Yeah.
yeah. So he was also lyrical, but he was having a more like academic philosophy approach to it, which was very cool at the time for me. Like I said, I was always looking for the most conscious stuff, but it was hard to find. I was, without you, I would have never found out about that Natty Law shit. So, saying I don't know, it's that underground, man. So that's also really shows how powerful your role with it is, and why I ended up being passionate about that Natty Law website, right? It's like it's really needed out there, man. Like almost no one knows about this. It's really occulted, literally. So yeah, but that's how I kind of fell in love with lyricism, is Absol and Milo and those kind of rappers. I also got into actually better ones like LP and Killer Mike with that that Run the Jewels. They were bringing that fire. I was into that, and I was digging Atmosphere also, and yeah, rappers like that. I was getting a little bit into, oh shit, what's his name? Forgetting his name, but another well-known lyricist one. Just the more well-known ones, the one that are like in between mainstream and underground. I was getting into all of those ones, even a little bit into Doom, and also another one. is John Wayne. I think I sent you his one of his tracks before, and I told you I saw him live. But when he was live, he was just DJing. He wasn't rapping. But he has some cool music inspired by Doom, and definitely a lot more conscious than most in that in between mainstream and underground kind of place. Um, yeah. So John Wayne, Absol, Milo, Atmosphere, they were kind of my inspiration. A little bit of like Blue, right? Because through Milo, I found out about that Blue album, about that Thought. Remember that one? um, yeah. So you kind of get exposed, right? Like through features and collaborations, you get exposed to different styles and different ways of doing it and different lyricists. Uh, and yeah,
Yeah, Blue. You're talking about BLU, the
right.
artist. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's pretty dope. Out in Los Angeles, I believe, LA.
Mm,
And yeah, like you said, and this is what I love about the whole SoundPath to Freedom. And with so many different artists being featured from a lot of different backgrounds and genres and styles of music, even within similar genres, it's just like a wonderful bouillabaisse or melting pot of talents, messages, consciousness, evocations of freedom and that kind of stuff. That rebel music, you know.
yeah, the tribal music. Yeah. So I was always doing more rebellious things, especially after doing a number on the military. Right. That was obviously the most rebellious thing I ever did. So naturally, I was gravitating to the more rebellious music. So yeah. Although I was listening to Run the Jewels, like as I was driving off and on to the military, I was like bumping that on in the car, like blasting that shit. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Like I think I had always had a soft spot more than anything for that melodic electronic music. Like I grew up loving, so that's what I was producing and listening to more than anything. And like that hip hop stuff was more on the side. I was listening to all kinds of different styles, including that fucking sound clap, mumble rap, a little bit of that. Like I told you, like even with that, I was looking for the most conscious of them as well. I was just digging the sound, I was, I guess at that time I was still a little bit more into the beats than the lyrics in some ways. Although it's always about the marriage of a beautiful beat and with the beautiful lyrics, right? That's obviously the best. Um, but yeah, so yeah, as I was getting more and more into the Netty Law shit with and already finding out about you and all that, listening to your mixes, that definitely triggered my soul spark. Ignited that to kind of take my music more in that direction, and so um, because like you also have like your recent replay with the jazzy hip hop number 6. That is very kind of chill and melodic. That's kind of like the kind of music maybe I would be into. Of course, maybe I was more into electronic side of things, but always was listening to that. I was actually listening to fucking Nuja Bass and stuff like that a lot at that time as well. So I was always listening to all kinds of things, man. Like
Rest
I
in
don't know,
peace.
man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nujabes, we'd pronounce it, I think. Yeah, but
Uh,
Nujabes. I like that as well because, like, a lot of some of your accents and pronunciations, it reminds me of how French people would as well. So, I follow you pretty well on that. So yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
right. Yeah. Just say things as they are phonetically without those English variations on them. Yeah. Uh, So let's see. What you have any questions so far? I don't know. Like, what are we getting at with that?
Yeah, so I guess, more in latter years, were you kind of like taking notes, or like when you're saying you were inspired, like what kind of, what was that soul spark feeling? Like, how did that hit you, if you will? And like, did you realize certain things like, oh shit, like this is what I need to focus on, or like these are the type of things that I could be, you know, rapping about and unravel my imagination and creativity within, and all that stuff? Or was it like building upon things that you already had and like, oh yeah, aha, type of thing? Like, I don't know. You tell me.
Let's see. Yeah. No, I want to mention before I get into a little bit of that, that because in the Dissolving the Divide interview, I mentioned that what kind of led me to being open to natural law and Mark Bessio was getting into Graham Hancock, and you said like Graham Hancock, he's not very natural law, speaker, but he actually refers to himself as an anarchist, and he kind of opened my mind into other things. I think he's pretty conscious, right? Like, of
Oh
course,
yeah, yeah.
he's
Like,
yeah.
I don't have much against him. I just think he hasn't gone all the way on certain aspects to like really have that proper worldview and stuff. But I have sound sampled some of his stuff in a mix or two, especially the Marijuana Doc Musical and one of my first mixes. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for him, although I feel like it's hard to say, but yeah, that it's part of that whole ancient astronaut type of vibe of the still theorizing on things where I've listened and spoken with people that are way the fuck beyond what they're still dwelling on. Yet what they bring to the table uh, teaches us as well, because they go into the archaeological aspects of things and they've actually been to these sites and stuff, and they're bringing insights and experience to the world. So
Yeah,
yeah.
they kind of opening up the people up to history is not what you think it is. It's not what they tell you it is. It's not what it says in Wikipedia, right? Like, dig deeper. Do your own research. Like, look at that. Like, does that make sense? Like, look at the erosion in the Sphinx, right? Like the Sphinx enclosure. Like, there was rainfall, like, and the Sphinx has to be over 10,000 years old. Like, here's the evidence, here's the proof. Like, look at all these advanced, like, fucking like stronger than granite sculptures. Like, how do you explain that? Obsidian sculptures, like fucking, like, we can barely, like, in today's technology we can barely make sculptures like that. How did they make those sculptures? you know so that kind of blows your mind to think, oh shit, reality, history, society, society's version of what's going on is not actually what's going on. There's something else going on, right? So he's very powerful in terms of that, and he also speaks for marijuana, for cannabis, for psychedelics, all those things. Maybe you want to censor me saying that for the YouTube version. We don't want to lose too many of our already shadow banning that's going on in YouTube, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's being legalized anyways, but it's under their government approved weed and stuff, and they're getting tax revenue off of it. Otherwise, it's I just thought about this. I'm gonna bring it up real quick. Just it dawned on me, and I might have thought about this before, but to articulate it in a different way, that's kind of like ironic and funny and fucked up at the same time. Is that like before the whole legalization of weed in different countries in Europe, even I don't know elsewhere in the world, Thailand, for example, where you're at, but also uh, a couple dozen states in the United States, I think, at this point. Before then, like growing up in the '80s, '90s, and all that stuff. I mean, I wasn't smoking weed in the '80s, but it was all illegal. So people got punished and arrested and fined for this victimless crime. We say the victimless crime, yet it's kind of a half truth because there is a victim involved in this crime. You know why? Because the government isn't getting their cut of the fucking sale of the weed and all that stuff through the fucking taxation or whatever the fuck, right? So isn't that ironic? So they want to punish, folks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
the victim
there's
is
other
the weed smoker, man.
victims.
That is fucking getting abused and put in a cage for fucking smoking a herb. That's
Yeah,
the fucking victim.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's good. You found that as like a proper medicinal adaptogen for you. Especially what you've had to fucking overcome and go through, man. Getting fucked up
exactly.
through
Yeah,
the military stuff, and so it's cool. Like you found music as one of those therapeutical outlets to alchemize that stuff and like just put out some beautiful soundscapes through your beats and stuff. And now you're like you're rapping and shit like that. It's cool. Even like some freestyle and shit seems. So that's what's up, man.
yeah. I can't freestyle that much. Like some of the maybe tracks I sent you sounds like a freestyle. It's I could say like it's like a half freestyle. Like I write it on the spot and rap it like right away, kind of thing, and kind of on the spot. But it's still written. I can't freestyle purely out of my own head, just like that. Although maybe I shouldn't say I can't, because I can. I have done that before successfully. Let's say, of course, I can do it not well, but doing it well is a different story. And I've done it well a few times. Even one time I recorded it. I have one recording of me pure freestyling, but it's still not nearly as good as my written material. So yeah, it's. Well,
Yeah,
I
bro. I
really
mean,
yeah.
it,
Yeah, go
it
ahead.
takes time and years. I mean, I even a decade ago, I couldn't really freestyle like the way I can, even though it's like I would have freestyles going on in my mind all the time, and I was like, "Wow, this is like some of the dopest shit I've ever heard in my life." Yet I couldn't, translate that from my head to my vocal cords for the life of me, and it's just takes
Yeah.
time to fucking like unleash that and really connect the, I guess those chakra connections and stuff, the throat with the
Oh man.
crown and whatever's going down from the heart, right?
Yeah, I had so many moments of like coming up with some brilliant shit in my own head, but I just never wrote it down. Like I don't know, it was like late at night. I was like outside. I don't know what it was, but I feel like many times, like yeah, the best shit comes when I cannot write it down. But yeah, uh, I try to yeah write down things more and more. Anyway, yeah. So shit, man. Yeah. So yeah, of course, cannabis was always a curiosity and a therapeutic thing that for me, like like I was getting into it as a late teenager, early adult, because my other friends were, and it was a way to kind of find therapy, kind of open my mind to different experiences, different ways of perceiving reality. Of course, it's a bit of a psychedelic of its own, right? Like which means mind expanding. So yeah, I had a friend that was really getting into psychedelics, and he smoked a lot of weed. I was only just starting to get into it. At first I was more in the paranoid side of things. I had to overcome that obstacle, and yeah, it took a while for me to get into it and really learn to use it properly and enjoy it all the way, like I do today, right? But yeah, I think with those things you need to take your time with it and treat it with respect, right? So yeah, so I guess learning about that was one of the ways I was getting into other conscious material, because yeah, many of the conscious speakers have some things in regards to cannabis. Another one I forgot to mention in the Dissolving the Divide video is Terence McKenna. Terence McKenna, I was getting into his material probably also because I was researching cannabis or whatever the fuck, and yeah, I was becoming a big fan of Terence McKenna. Like I don't know, around the time I was also into Graham Hancock. So that's a couple of years before I was getting into natural law, and or just let's say just the years leading up to it. Maybe before that there was a little bit of Ellen Watts and stuff like that. Who actually, funnily enough, I got exposed to Ellen Watts through a video game of all things. There's actually a video game that has like Ellen Watts narration in it. It's
No way. Which
pretty.
one?
It's called Everything. Interesting name, right? It's a game where it's actually what's really interesting. What great crazy synchronicity is a video you shared not too long ago. One of your I don't know mix. Oh, is it a mix? It's a video that I really like of yours, and I shared it and like said like, oh, that's one of Derek's best videos. Is one where you show like how you can zoom in into something, a plant, and you can go to the molecule and you can go deeper and like the electrons, the neutrons, and then it goes to the universe, to galaxies, and planets and stars, and all the way back to to smaller things and bigger things. Like how everything is one, right? Like that video. You know what I'm talking about?
Law correspondence.
Yeah, I think so.
Word.
So that's the video game. I guess I don't know what came first. Probably that video. So that video game is actually like this video. It's you're like playing like an animal, some I don't know, some
Huh.
deer, and then you can
Oh
become
wow.
like a big stone, and then you can become like a big mountain, and then you can become a whole planet, and then a whole solar system, and then a whole galaxy, blah blah. And you have fucking Alan Watts narrating the whole thing, like a recording of his. That's the most funky video game I ever played in my life, and one of my top 5 favorite video games of all time. It's a very very funky video game. I think it was created by the person who animated some scenes in the Her movie. So many people know the movie Her. I think you said you didn't watch that, but it's a popular movie, and so yeah, very interesting guy. I think his name is David something.
Oh wow. And
Uh,
what console is that on? Video game
Ah,
wise?
it's definitely on PC, where I play almost everything, and possibly on PlayStation 3. It's from that time, Xbox 360, possibly on those too. Definitely on PC though. Um, yeah. So that's how I got into that. Blew my mind, that this video game in general and the whole concept of it and those narrations by Elon was definitely that was a big shift in my life to get exposed to that. So that was way before even Graham Hancock and all that. So you know, so then there was the Graham Hancock, the Terence McKenna, all the psychedelic kind of popular YouTubers and all that. And then the Corona thing happened. I was getting a little bit into Alex Jones, Max Sigan, and then finally came the Mark Passio, which to me, to this day, over 2 years later, is still the ultimatum of conscious information that you can find on the internet.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool, yo. Yeah, the Rona was quite the catalyst, and it's one of those things where we can look back and say, yeah, that was really fucked up, and the world got hoodwinked or tricked, fooled with the scan pandemic and whatever the hell. Yet it had people compelled to really research elsewhere and become awakened and aware to different information that they never knew existed before. So there's that. And yeah, I mean, it just sucks. Like, what what does it take, like for things to really have a turning point to where more people are just not going to fall for any of this bullshit anymore. And yeah, it's like they need to hear it through all types of mediums of conscious expression, or in which has been hijacked obviously through the mainstream media and the propaganda machine, right? But yeah, so it's just cool to see folks like yourself, hearing some things and just like, okay, yeah, let's rebroadcast some stuff and incorporate this, implement it through my integration of the knowledge I learned through the art forms that I'm skilled at already, and then build upon there. Hats off to you.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Like that's what it came down to. Is being inspired to give the gift of knowledge back out. So I was gifted this knowledge for free, by those gracious, conscious, spiritual people, like, and I felt compelled to, of course, behave with reciprocity and do my thing to, yeah, put myself out there too and try to inspire others, because I know that this information, this knowledge is extremely needed in today's world. Um, so it's what's holding humanity back from evolving, from being truly free. Which obviously, with what I've been through, freedom is a big passion of mine, and I want everyone to be free. I don't want anyone to suffer what I had to suffer. I don't want anyone to go through fucking military bullshit and live in a fucking war-torn country, and let alone what's going on in Israel's neighbors with Gaza and Palestine. That's only horror stories like that. I was kind of nearby. I could hear the fucking bombs of those horror stories in real life. So like, and I got hit myself, kind of, but so that obviously was also a big push for me to want to do something about it, to be an activist about it. So yeah. And I think music, like your background and our biggest project now, SoundPath to Freedom, I think music is a great vehicle, a great vibration that is physical and spiritual and mental, to kick us in the butt and make us move, groove, dance, but also make some moves out there as well, and spread it out there, and yeah, music is very catchy. So I think it's kind of like it's part of the quadrivium, right? But it's also really part of the trivium as well, because with music you get the logic, the grammar, the logic, and the rhetoric, right? So with music, the grammar is obviously the lyrics, right? Starting with the grammar. So the grammar is the lyrics. And then you have the logic, which is the rhythm, and the rhetoric is the entire song. And so you could see music as encompassing the trivium already right there. So yeah, and obviously if anyone doesn't know, trivium is the key to learning that is occulted, that got taken out of the education schooling bullshit system, fucking jail for children, that is for the fucking public education system shitstem. Right.
Like my
Yeah,
West.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So music kind of course, just like anything, like in the Dissolve Divide video I say cannabis is so good and all that, but we all know there's many immoral satanist motherfuckers smoking weed, and same with music, same with all those things. So it's less about the tool and more about how you use that tool. And how you
Yeah.
work with that tool, and I guess your conscious state,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
There's a big delay, by the way. I don't know if it's coming in good now.
Yeah, it jumped a little bit. I think it caught up to speed. And yeah, I'll just say real quick because
Maybe it's better now.
yeah, it's an interesting take. What you mentioned with the trivium, uh, and I have nothing really wrong with it, especially in the terms you put it in. And I was thinking also you could also say, to really create a song, from the individual musician's perspective, especially if there's lyrics involved in the music. Yeah, what did they actually learn, or their life experience? What are they drawing from? That's the grammar aspect, or the knowledge uh, stage in this threefold path called the trivium, right? And then you have the logic and or understanding, and I like to consider, the integration of the knowledge and experience and all these things, and how it's synthesized and alchemized to have whatever rhetoric and articulation of that knowledge that they learned and implemented, integrated, and all these things, and they fuse that into their music and lyrics and all that stuff. So we could say that as well. And then, obviously, yeah, the music is on key with, certain mathematics, and you could see the geometrical octaves of that, and through the music, those are three aspects of the quadrivium right there. So yeah. And then I don't know if that corresponds to anything astrological or astronomical, but that's the fourth one on the seven liberal arts and sciences that I need to learn a fuck ton more about myself, because I'm still like on rudimentary grounds, I feel. But just knowing about them and really just having them in mind, as we do, we always, bring these up, and even like the SoundPath the Freedom watch parties and all that stuff. So yeah, those have been fun, and speaking with like-minded folks that really get these things, and it's like we're kind of just like building off each other. It's cool.
Yeah, big shout out to Jerry Cabezudo. She's the
Word.
lead organizer. So much love and much respect to you for doing this, for working super hard. Apparently, barely getting any sleep. She said she sleeps like 2 to 6 hours a day now these days. So she's working super hard for this. So big shout out. Check out
Fuck yeah.
SoundPath to Freedom and buy your ticket. Now they're selling cheaper. So if you're watching this around the time we're releasing this video, I guess you can still get it for $33, and we're gonna raise the price to way higher because we're getting a lot more people joining us, and we're gonna have 7 or 8 live performers actually. So it's gonna be a really real big event actually. So that's amazing. So
Fuck yeah, yo.
So that I'm really passionate about that. Yeah, that was really cool to get into that. I can talk about that a little bit, like because
Yeah.
I've been
Because
there from the very beginning. Yeah, or later.
we just have to really mention and emphasize real quick. Sorry to cut you off, but I'll let you have the stage in a second. But folks need
Yeah, yeah,
to recognize that Theo Lux has been at the helm of really creating, updating this website, soundpath.org. If you can't click the QR code, soundpath.org. Once again, my friends. So yeah, take it away, brother.
yeah. And that's
Thank
right.
you.
That right there is another way to use my skills that I earned, for other means, to put them towards freedom and natural law, and uniting humanity with natural law, with the understanding of objective morality, the only way to achieve true freedom. So yeah, and I've been there from the very beginning. I still remember like Jerry getting inspired by the Final Five conference, like realizing Conrad can rap, and then realizing I can rap and make electronic music and all that, make beats, and of course, she was getting exposed to you and your DJ sets and all that. And so she was, yeah, gathering all of us. She was saying like, hey, I'm very inspired by all of you, and I want to maybe have a natural music festival. And she just used her skills, right, that she got from other places and other life experiences to, yeah, gather us all together and create this music festival. And like, just like that, just like magic, just like alchemy, 5 months later, here we are, and we're having a real big event building up, man. So yeah, it's pretty amazing to observe, to see real alchemy in action. Like, let alone my solo efforts, but now it's more community, and that's what it's all about. It's all about community. It's all about uniting us, and like kind of giving us back at the tribe, right? It's kind of like, as humanity, we kind of lost the tribe of aspect of life. Like, think about how people used to live way back in the early days of civilization, or in the ancient days. People used to be in tribes and used to have a shaman. We talk about shamanism on netilaw.com as well, right? Like, so yeah, the whole connection to the spirit realm, to the unseen realm, which shaman means like a man who sees in the dark, right? Think about like sha, like like silence, right? It's kind of that there's a green language there, which also we talk about on netilaw.com. So like, yeah, there's the hearing something in the silence and seeing something in the dark.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to
seeing
Cubbyhole.
beyond. Big shout out to Cubbyhole, Netilaw, fuck, Nate Cap, Netilaw, what the fuck? He's featured on Netilaw as well, but Nate Cap. I think there's a green language with his name, Netilaw, Natural, right? Yeah. Nate Cap, yeah, the king of the Cubbyhole, man. Like, yeah, big shout out to him, and the rest of them, of course, the legend, Brandon Martin and Douglas Martin, the two legends, the other legends. They're all legends, but yeah, really love their podcast, Cubbyhole. Really, you gotta check it out. That's to this day a big source of inspiration for me and knowledge, right? Like proper hardcore esoteric shit. So for sure. Um, yeah, one
Oh
of my
yeah.
songs, yeah, in Internal Monarchy, I was inspired by their teachings.
Ooh,
The,
awesome.
out of Babylon, that one.
Yeah, yeah, that was great. Yeah, so got about like 20 minutes left. Unfortunately, I gotta be elsewhere, but yeah, let's focus in on just like your music, and I'm curious as to what you have planned, what you're concocting, what you're marinating on for the SoundPath to Freedom Music Festival. You got some new goodies you're gonna release to us, little EP type of thing, a little mixture of some old and the new, or what's your plans, yo?
Yeah, so for the SoundPath to Freedom, I thought I'll do something special, something I've never done before. I was like thinking, what should I do? Should I just maybe have like a special video for the Saga album where maybe I like have some narration in between tracks, kind of like a set, kind of, right, like a pre-recorded set type of thing. However, I cannot really record myself rapping it or anything like that. I don't have the means to do that, so I would just do like a digital version of a set kind of thing, like a, kind of like almost like a movie, you could say, like Saga the movie. I called it. I already had it written down and all that, but then I was thinking, you know what? I want something more fresh than that, and I want like a proper music video where you can actually see me and see some scenery of like the beautiful place I live in and all that. So then I came up with the song that will debut in the SoundPath festival, and yeah, so it's gonna be called "Ignite the Spark." Here you go. So and that's actually really synchronous with the Funnel 6 Ignite, right? So I didn't know it was gonna be called Ignite when I came up with that. Funnel 5. Okay. Uh, Yeah, I keep getting confused by the. Oh, yeah, you're right. Final five.
Yeah, no worries. But holy
Yeah.
shit, yeah. Hopefully we can kind of throw in and feature something from that in the conference. We're because obviously like if people haven't learned by now, Jerry's been emphasizing this quite a bit in a lot of our music watch parties and other videos, her interviews. In that the Funnel Conference, which is an acronym for Freedom Under Natural Law, which Theo and I were both featured in last February. It's featured more than just people presenting truth related information and philosophy, spirituality, and things like that. Things like green language, as Ned Cap would bring up with the Oculus or the Spire ritual and things of that nature, right? So yeah, I love seeing so many people being featured in this and being honored, as I'm sure you are, to be a part of it in any which way. And yeah, it's kind of like these mixtapes of or compilations of a lot of different artists that you get to discover, yet it's on the truth speaking side of things. And just a lot of things that we never would even scratch the surface of in school and whatever the hell. And they wonder why we're not really looking to pass with flying colors of an A plus of GPA 4.0, whatever the hell. That's like kind of English terms for like a perfect student. I don't know if you got anything like that in your public school indoctrination systems over there, but yeah, anyways. So yeah, but yeah, obviously, so with the Funnel Conference, Jerry and others, watched this and were a part of it, and things just manifested and with the collaborations and communications of her kind of being the facilitator of like, hey, I want to do like an actual music thing. I love music and I love what I saw. I was featured in this whole conference that, hey, let's just do like a pure music one, which is funny and ironic because, after the conference, the folks in the Funnel organizational crew, which I'm, gratefully a part of this time around, we're talking about, let's just do like a Funnel music conference or event type of thing. And then, but it seems like Jerry kind of beat us to the punch with, taking like that spearhead initiative and like, gathering folks like ourselves and all this stuff, like you mentioned. So yeah, it's just a really cool thing. And, the Funnel Conference, the Seed Conference, which is part of, a lot of folks that were, are the foundation of Cubbyhole, with Nate Cap, Brandon Martin, Douglas Martin, as mentioned before. So yeah, shout outs to all them. I just wanted to plug that in real quick. But yeah, what do you guys say about any of that, Theo, or just any kind of concluding? Well, we got 10 minutes, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess my concluding thought is just put your ass out there and fucking do something, man. Like we can't be stuck in this fucking slave system, bullshit society, like hedonistic, satanist, fucking hell world that we have out there. Like fucking with ignorance being the ruling. That's the real king of the world is fucking ignorance, man, and it's all fucking mentalism. It's all in that first chromatic principle. It's all in that mentalism. The ruler that is really ruling the world of humanity is fucking ignorance. Okay, and sometimes you just gotta say straight like that to people. Sometimes you just gotta say, you're fucking stupid. That like, do something about it. You don't want to be stupid, then fucking prove to me you're not stupid. Like, prove to me you know a thing or two about what is really going on in the world. Like I came to the point where I'll just say it like this. Like I'll tell to the restaurant lady, like, you're fucking stupid. Okay, I won't say it like that, but it kind of really got to that point where I like tell her, like, I think just yesterday I told her, you know what, everybody's stupid. Like Like, but I would be humble about it. I would like say, I was always also stupid. Like, I'm also stupid, right? But like I was also trying to say, like, I used to be stupid, like, at one point. I'm sure I'm now stupid as opposed to how I'll be in the future, right? If I'll keep working on myself, which I will never stop bettering myself. That's another fucking big point, is to like fucking better yourself. Like, are you here to just fucking be lodging around, fucking, watching Netflix all day, playing fucking stupid ass video games, whatever the fuck, watching TikTok videos, or are you here to fucking be the hero of your own story? Are you here to do something that is gonna leave a mark, maybe a mark of or mark of passion, or maybe a different mark, leave your own mark, um, you know it better be a mark of passion, but it doesn't have to be that hedonistic passion, or romantic passion, whatever the fuck. It can be a passion for freedom, obviously, for nature, like the background we have, the lovely background. Another big passion of mine is nature, connecting to nature, obviously. So just embracing the beauty of the universe as it is, not the human verse, not the matrix, not the social dogma, stigma, bullshit world. Like, leave that aside, leave your family aside, leave your friends aside, and connect to that pure essence. Like, ask yourself, what is this place? Why am I here? What is this life? What is this? Is there a God? What is God? What Who created this? What why am I here? Like, I remember, just as a child, like, asking myself those questions. I will feel like, still sometimes I get this feeling, like a feeling in my, like, all my chakras, like, oh, what is going on, like what is this, like, it's kind of like, I'm sure you know the feeling, but the way you described your awakening and all that. So anyway, but I remember, like, since a child, I used to have this kind of, sometimes I would bring myself to that feeling, and I was always very curious and all that. So I guess I was gifted. I was like the name I gave to myself, Theodore, the gift from God, right? Like, that's the meaning of that. So, like, yeah. Like, I always had this connection to God, to that pure essence, you could say, that source. Always had that, thankfully, and I'm sure almost everyone in the natural community has it. So that's good that we found our tribe, and I was talking about that also with Jerry. That SoundPath is not about music; it's about the tribe. It's about bringing us together, people like us. The Some people call us, like, soul seeds. There's all kinds of term or sorry, star seeds. Sorry, it's not soul, star seeds, right? There's all kinds of different terms to refer to people like us. But I really think all of us, I think all humanity is star seeds. Just, I think some of us have been attacked by the matrix dogma, fakery, bullshit harder than others. I really think that's what it is. And some of us, maybe through past experiences, previous life experiences, came to this life already with this resilience against the matrix bullshit. So, I think that's what I kind of came to understand, the understanding of. Um, so I think definitely the great work is really the one great work to help humanity, ignite the spark in them of that soul spark.
Fuck yeah. And as we know, and why we're involved in this whole project and music festival, is that music can really tap in and ignite that soul spark. I'm kind of speaking from experience. Yet, of course, we have to supplement it with, information like, whoa, like these folks are, having lyrics about things I'd barely know about or heard about. What is it really all about? Because they're making a lot of sense, and through rhyme form, it's like, wow, it's so incredible. And it's just one of those catalysts. And to each their own. It's not going to be the end all be all. And we're just trying to do our part and inspire others to listen and get activated through this medium of expression, this art form, right? So yeah, I'm really honored and happy to be doing this with you, brother. And we didn't
Yeah.
really touch all upon like what do you have produced and where we can find it and all that stuff. And I'd like for folks to get a clue as to where they can find you and all that, because you got Bandcamp and YouTube and obviously the nattylaw.com, where you have your latest album Saga on the homepage, which is great. So yeah.
Yep. By the way, I just want to mention that when I said like leave your family, your friends alone, I mean like the unconscious one, or like, how to say it right, because I don't want people to misunderstand me. I am a family guy, even though I don't have family right now. I definitely want to have a family. I see myself having a beautiful, conscious family in the future with children and all that. Um, and so, I still have a beautiful connection with my mother. So it's nothing against family at all, and all that. Like I was saying, we need more unity in the community and outside the community, but it just has to be based on natural law. It has to have first principles of, like, kind of live and let live, the golden rule kind of thing going on at the bare minimum. Like, you don't have to agree on everything, but at least the golden rule has to be there. And if it's not there, then you just have to let it go, no matter who they are. And if you can connect further and further into deeper and deeper material in regards to esotericism, occult information, and all that stuff, then it's even better. And of course, in collaborating on the great work, which is obviously what we're doing with SoundPath as well. So yeah, you can find me on the SoundPath to Freedom music channel, not just music channel, but just channel on YouTube channel. I'm there every week doing the watch parties, and yeah, I got my Bandcamp. It's Love Forever. It's just like my label. It's loveforever.bandcamp.com. And just the YouTube. You can find all my links on my YouTube page. Even though YouTube is pretty damn lame with the censorship and all the Matrix bullshit, we still kind of have to focus on it as the main thing for now, because that's the biggest audience. So you can definitely subscribe and check out my YouTube. That's where you find all my released music. Let's say more official than my early mixtapes, which you can find on my Bandcamp. And I think that's about it. I'm also active in all the natural law Telegram groups. I really love connecting with people there. I'm a friendly guy, so I just love supporting people that do the great work. So my message is just, again, like, everyone can do this. I was just a shy, introverted guy. Of course, I was very rebellious and pushing myself all the time, but I never imagined myself doing what I'm doing these days. Like, I really thought, like, even though I was being creative and all that, I thought I would just be an anonymous. I always wanted to be an anonymous, successful guy. I always wanted to be a guy that just was successful, but no one ever knew who he was. That's what I always wanted. And so it's interesting to see how I shifted my kind of attitude and just decided to fuck it, put myself out there and not give a fuck anymore, and conquer the fucking demon of fear with love. Like the real opposite of fear is love. And so I just chose love, and that's why it's love forever. It's like, fuck it, I am not gonna ever be in fear. It's fear never, love forever, you could say. And so fuck it, gonna put myself out there. I don't really give a fuck. And I know I'm protected for doing so. Like I used to be an atheist, not anymore, because I had enough experiences to prove to me that there is something divine, spiritual, God-like going on in this realm. Okay, I used to be a hardcore fucking scientism atheist for most of my life, and I had fucking enough messages from the divine spark that it obviously it exists. Okay, and when you do stuff like this great work, you're getting closer to it. You're getting more aligned with it, and I will just leave it there.
Beautiful, brother. I hear you, and I love the fact you're charged with the force and keep it on course or well aligned to the divine and
Jedi shit.
yeah. But
Star
in that
Wars,
real life
motherfucker.
shit, yeah. Fuck yeah. So nattylaw.com, saga, soundpath.org, and stay tuned for so much more. Theo, you're quite an inspiration, brother. What can I say?
Appreciate you.
Yeah, likewise. Looking forward to what you're going to be bringing to the table at the end of the month. August 30th or 31st is when it'll be broadcasted, like the majority of our SoundPath live streams. So please note that in your calendar, and we will see you soon. Take care, y'all. You got that natural love?
What's going on with that good old nattyloud.com?
Yeah. How do you stay aligned to the divine in these troubling times? You got that natural love?